Did I do that? Oh, wait, I just messed up. Oh, God, what did I do? Hold on. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Man United Agenda. Technical difficulties. So, guys, we'll be discussing Justin and Mike Phelan. So tonight, we've got a few special guests tonight. Can we please welcome Amy? Hello, Amy, and welcome. Sorry about the technical glitches. Welcome, Amy. Welcome.
Yeah, big up, Amy.
The Man United Agenda.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Also, going in is Talk MU.
Yeah.
Hello, Talk MU. Welcome.
Howdy.
And as always, special guest, part furniture is on Monday. Hello, Monday. How you doing? You all right? And Mr. B.
Evening. What's that circle in the corner going on there?
Okay,
it's the wheel of uncertainty.
The wheel of uncertainty is in the corner, and that is Shaw United. So let's see if Shaw United has technical difficulty tonight for some reason. So, guys, first things first. How is everyone doing today?
Wasn't expecting that.
We are in the peak. We are in the peak of summer, and it's beautiful out here. So yeah, very happy. And there's football on every day for the next month. So yeah, we're not too bad.
Not too bad. Okay, so let's start off tonight's show. Normally, this is a studs up show, and normally we go in with the studs open. And unfortunately, tonight is going to be a subject that is been on our mind for a long time, and it's all to do with the coaching staff at Manchester United, and also last week with the announcement of Justin to the football club. So let's go through a little Justin credential at Man United development for the under 21. So he's going to be connecting all the dots and T's to the first team. So he's going to be talking to Ole very quickly, very directly. He believes from the under 21 should then go to the senior team. So Justin basically is a former professional footballer. He used to play for Tigran Barbados football team. He's had a career stance at 10 years. He's only feel bad now, innit? He's only 39 years old. Under 16 head coach, and also he used to be the under 17 coach as well for England, and he was to very highly to be a very high credential in coaching. So, Amy, with Justin at the club, what can you tell us about him? Do you know him, or what do you think his ability is as a coach coming to this Man United setup? Because I think we need top level coaches at the moment, don't we?
Yeah, look, definitely. And I think one thing with our academy is it is something that at the minute, but it's definitely something that, you know, through the years we have created some gems coming out of the academy. So it's actually very important that our academy has been very good over the last few years, or even since Fergie. Obviously, Fergie built from the academy, and he did it very well. So, like the likes of Greenwood, Rashford, all of them coming up through the academy. So obviously, we needed someone that has experience coming up from previous clubs. Like you said, he was at Spurs as well for several years, and he was coaching the English under 17s as well. So definitely the experience will benefit him massively. And hopefully we can create more gems coming up in the future. Like we can see a lot coming up now, like Charlie McNeil, Hannibal, Ethan Laird. Like we have loads of talent coming up. So hopefully he can build from that as well.
It is a conversation very close to your heart with it as well. Bringing Justin into the club, as what Amy says, he used to be at Spurs. He's got basic
Yeah.
He was set to replace Eddie Boothroyd as well for England, but obviously they got him to sign a new contract. So is this something, or do you honestly believe that there's more to it than just this one coach bringing him and hyping him up?
Well, I mean, he's got great credentials. You look at where he's been at a lot of clubs, he's got a lot of experience. I'm just hoping, from what I've been reading about this guy, I'm hoping he's going to be more focusing on the football intelligence side of things with the under 21s, and not relying too much on just like ability. You know, he's got to be focusing on the football intelligence, and also he's got to be a kind of father figure to these youngsters, because that's where it goes to afterwards into the first team. So you don't want a disparity between the relationship at the under 21 levels, and then all of a sudden it just gets all different on you when you go into the first team. It's got to be a smooth transition. So for me, if this guy is capable of that, it looks like his credentials in terms of understanding the game, you know, and individual aspects of each position, for example, you know, from defending to midfield play to, you know, forward play, using space, when to use the space, when not to, you know, press, don't press, you know, all that kind of stuff. So for me, these are the football intelligence. That's got to be focused on for me, rather than just, you know, pushing their own ability. That's fine, but there has to be some focus on the football intelligence side of things.
Okay, thank you. So let's go to Shaw, if Shaw is okay now. Shaw, obviously, you go to Man United quite often as well to see them. Some of the young prospects that's coming through the club at the moment, do you believe as well with it, if we had him in probably last season, do you think a lot of youngsters would have opportunity to come to the first team and actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer start playing some of the youngsters who would come in and be more fearless compared to the actual players?
I think if he was given a little bit longer than a year, then definitely I think there would be a big difference. I think the players like I mentioned, there was like, you know, the players that are coming through, Hannibal's, the youngsters like that, the mentality's got to be right. And I think he's coming at a very crucial time, like talking you said already, you know, the psychological point of getting these players in a football mindset. We've talked about it with the current crop of players where they don't use the football brain. This guy's coming and to enforce everything they're doing tactically on the pitch, mentally as well. And that's something that just shows actually what United have done is taken someone who's being regarded really highly of the future from the FA. You know, that's something that you've got to think actually the Gareth Southgate, even though what he's doing with England sometimes people don't agree with, but he's treating these players in a different way and they all respect him, they all want to play for him. Whatever anyone says, that's what they want to do. And I think it all comes down to all these kind of mindset and the modern way that football's evolved. So I think if we had him 2 seasons, I'll give him we can see that difference. So that next crop of players coming through, and let's see how much they mature.
Okay. And the tactical awareness now, the guys say Ole don't have no tactical announce or anything like that. On Monday, do you think now this is the right appointment for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Are you mute? Yeah, you're mute. You were mute.
Yellow card.
Not for Ole. Yeah. Forgive me for my unprofessionalism. Not for Ole. It's for the club, really. It's to do with from under 23s, under 17s to under 23s. I think he's running with. I like the appointment. It shows that we're going in. We're focusing on the youths. We've got a good bunch of youths at the moment. A good, like we said, Hannibal, and a few of them coming true now. Now, one thing we have to understand: we've always been a youth development club. 25% of our first team last season was youth development players. We made 5 debuts to youth from youth players as well. So this is just to enhance what we've already got. We've already got the foundation is there. So I'm quite happy that we're looking to enhance that. And we got a guy who's 39 years old. I mean, he's younger than me. And he's like, I think this is an opportunity to, like, when you got people like Terry Phelan and Neil Word and all these guys, Neil Ryan in the club, these are old school guys. Can they bond with the youths these days? You know, can they really have that relationship with the youths? I think having a 39-year-old who's obviously been on the England scene with the under 16s, 17, 18s, worked for Tottenham for a number of years, and he's got a good character about him where he's like a youth worker and have a good banter with them and all that kind of thing. So he's got a good understanding. So at 39 years old, I think that's a good appointment. I'm happy about it. I don't think we can assess it really based on the first team. I don't think you should really assess it on the success of the youth team, because you don't have to be winning the youth club thing or anything like that. You just have to see the development of players coming through. And I think, like, with the batch that we've got, it's very important, like I say, that we're really keen now to do it, because Hannibal, for example, that's someone I admire. And in the past, we've got rid of Angel Gomez. Maybe his head wasn't right. Maybe no one could get through to him. Do you see what I'm saying? So hopefully, like Torkham, you said, it's a psychological thing. This guy can, bond with his youths, not like these older guys who are in their 60s who, play a bit past it in that respect. So yeah, I'm very happy about the appointment, because as you know, my whole thing about Man United right now is that Ole cannot coach, and I want to see some sort of development there in the coaching staff.
Okay.
I'll keep mine a lot. I'll keep mine a lot shorter than Amondi's. He did have a few years at Tottenham, 8 years at Tottenham actually. His playing career wasn't great. He did a Rushden and Diamonds a couple of times. He's done Yeovil Town. He's done Hayes and Yedding. So he's a pretty local lad to us, as in Amondi and Solo. He's been name checked by Gareth Southgate a few years ago as well, so that probably put him on our radar. Under 15, under 16, under 17, England technical coach. So he's come to us with a pretty good CV. What you lot haven't said, and what I'm glad that I'm able to say, is his preferred formation is 4-2-3-1. That is the formation that he likes to work with. So whether it helps in what we're trying to do as a club, or it helps Ole, giving him a few more ideas, moving forward, I think it can only be a benefit. Whether or not Ole listens to him and still carries on listening to the people that he's been listening to is a whole other issue, but we'll never know. But I think it's a pretty good appointment. We're moving forward at least. What was you going to say there, Rise?
Yeah, I was going to add to that. It's like you've also almost got to kind of make all the players like managers in a way. So that when you're a manager, like of a store, for example, you've got to know all the jobs, haven't you? You've got to know all the jobs when things get changed up. You know how to deal with it. And this is what we've got to do with all these players, is get them in that 4-2-3-1 system. And if there ever has to be any changes made, then they're comfortable with it. It's when you see us putting players in when they're not comfortable with it, and it all starts to go south.
Amy, with the system, he's preferred that system, same as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer trying to play at the moment? Do you see this system benefit Man United, or do you see it sort of downgrading Man United? Because obviously over the years we only played almost like one defensive midfield player, but at the moment it seems like we're playing two. And with Justin coming in, do you reckon he could probably change the ethos of the under 21 and get Ole to start playing a different system that works the right way? I think you're on mute, Amy.
Sorry. I think it could definitely benefit him. But being completely honest, I want Ole to completely get rid of two defensive midfielders, because it's driving me cracked. I think if you have one stable defensive midfielder in front of the back four,
Bravo!
that should be enough. And I think that's why you need the likes of Declan Rice or indeed like you just need someone that will sit there and will be able to pass the ball quick, because as good as Matic can be, and as good as Matic was, he's just too slow now. And at least then, if you have that, you have Pogba who can play that free role in midfield, and Bruno doesn't have to come back so deep as well. So, yeah, maybe in the long run it could benefit, but right now I think Ollie needs to move past the 4-2-3-1, to be honest, and just play 4-3-3.
Oh, bravo!
Formation change.
Got lots.
Do you know what? I don't think he'll do. I don't think he'll do that. But I think if you look at like Declan Rice when he played for England was against Croatia, it was absolutely fantastic. And you see when he goes and supports over on whatever side we're focusing on, to be that out ball. And that's the key. That's the key for us, is when we get stuck and we're starting to lose our shape. You've got to have that somebody you can give that ball to who's secure with it, solid, while everybody gets back into position and we start again and go again. But a lot of the time, like with Fred and McTominay, we can't do that because, quite frankly, they're all over the fucking shop. Sorry for swearing, but it's just the way it is. So, yeah, we that's what we need. We definitely need that. I mean, I would like to see Ollie do a 4-3-3. Of course I would, but I don't think he will.
You think we've got the players to do 4-3-3?
Not right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, if we get the defense, the DM, we could do it. But we could do it even like we say, if we stick to the 4-2-3-1, you can have that player who does sit back there, and you have the wing backs doing their bit, ready to not overcommit. You don't want them overcommitting forward and also you need to play a higher line when you're playing that kind of game, because there's no point in sitting deep and having a big gap between the creative midfielders and this number 6. Otherwise, it can get caught out. So we have to play a high line.
Guys,
come on, they started.
No, we're contradicting ourselves here. You can't say you want Declan Rice, who sits back deep, and then say we want to play higher line. I think where we should be going forward is still keep the 4-3-1, but don't have a guy who's going to be, I'm a DM. All this talk about DM. It's rubbish, absolute rubbish. Just have 2 ballers in there who know what they're doing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if
Pogba, you need numbers up forward one day.
What's wrong with playing Pogba and Van der Beek? We were saying that last season because they're defensively minded. They know what they're doing. They're intelligent enough to know where to be at the right time. Matic, for example, we were talking about Declan Rice. I watched him on Sunday for England, and it's like he's a bit isolated because he's coming deeper than who's the other guy from Leeds, Kelvin Phillips.
Phillips.
Yeah. So if he's going to do that, we have to have ball retention. You can't do that and then lose the ball, pass it forward and lose the ball. Then he's a bit isolated. But I like his position and what he does. But I just think all this DM thing and all this double pivot talk, half the people talking don't know what they're talking about. Just get ballers in there, people that know football, and it's
pass the ball.
Hold on, it's been coached in them from day one. So if they're coming through the academy, Hannibal, for example, we think he's an attacking midfielder. What's to stop him from being a central midfielder, one of the 2? I'm sure if he's playing in the development side, he will be one of the 2 central midfielders. He won't be playing on the inside forward or the number 10, maybe a number 10. But I think eventually you could train him up as one of the 2 in the 4-2-3-1. He's a baller. They say you can't tackle, but it's about positional. You don't need to tackle if you're just positionally correct.
So, okay, guys.
Can I just say something quickly? Just sorry. Talking about ballers in the academy, a bit coming back to what Amy was saying about Ethan, obviously Hannibal, and you got James Garner coming in through as well. There's a perfect sort of 3 to give you what you want to play in terms of quality footballers. Like I've watched the academy matches and the guys can pick out passes. They run end-to-end, box to box. They've got some good energy, those 3 have. You're going to be quite excited to see them come through.
Okay, so a lot of you guys are talking about stuff, but you guys have forgotten Ahmed as well, who's just come in the club. So, yeah. So, guys, before we move on, can we read some comments out, please, and then see what I'll do is if the comments is legit comments, I'm going to go to individual. You guys get to comments, all right, guys?
Okay. Just want to say good evening to Charlie Hibbert, Man City fan. He's tuned in. He's
hello, Charlie.
A spy. 14-year-old spy for Man City on the hotline. This is from Stoney, one of someone's brother, relative from someone from the show. Is that right, Mr. B? It's Mr. B's brother. Now, Stoney says, excellent appointment for United. This is the future for United, who have missed the trick. Because he's saying City now run Manchester's in youth academy, development, stadium, no roof is leaking and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, he's having a little pop at us, but he's making some really valid points.
Okay, so before we move on, Amy, what do you make of those comments from Stoney?
Well, I mean, he's not wrong in a sense, because obviously City built an impressive facility there, and also they get what they need to develop the club, and they're not taking money out of the club like certain owners. So I do agree with him, to be honest, and I think they do get in the right coaches, and they do recruit well, and I'm presuming they bring in the right coaches as well to develop the academy too. So they have all the facilities there.
Okay, thank you, Amy.
So Stoney again is making a lot of contributions. Thank you, Stoney, saying the emergency of Shola will be amazing. I think the emergence, he's trying to say here, not emergency, of Shola will be amazing to see. Players with playing with the first team. As we saw last season, we had 5 debutants from the
UK. Let's go to you.
Yeah, I just want to draw a point to the thing about the midfielders being able to do a bit of everything. I mean, it's all right saying that, but you can't be like what do you call them? The cowboy of all trades, or you're not a master of one, something like that. Anyway, you've got to
jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly, that's it, Mr. B. You've got to be given. You give it a specific role, and that's what you do. You try and get players doing too many different things. That's what I said before. You've got to know exactly what you're doing in your position, and that's your job. It just makes the whole thing. You can't, you got like circles trying to blend with triangles, trying to blend with squares. It looks a mess. If it's all circles, it looks really pretty. That's what teams like Man City do. That's what teams like Liverpool do. It's all circles. Everybody's got their own little role, and they stick to it. You do take week in, week out. You've got to stick to it. You try and get somebody to try to do, you've done that in that game, but now I want you to go and start doing this. It's like, yeah, wait, what? No, don't work. Just look at Liverpool. Just look at Liverpool when it all went south on them. Trying to get players to do other things. It's not going to happen.
Can I studs up on that point, please?
Go on.
Right. The topic of the show today is about coaching. We got a guy who just employed who's going to bring extra skill and extra awareness to these youth players. As I just said, and I'm backed up by Stoney here, who's very intelligent, mind you. He says Omondi speaks 100% the truth. Okay, midfielders should be able to do everything. So we can't sort of pigeonhole people, say you can only do this. That's a terrible way to come. We got a guy like Donny van der Beek in the club. He can do a number of jobs. If you watched yesterday, we watched GG from Liverpool in the anyone see the Holland game. If Liverpool plays in the 2 and he's looking like yesterday he's playing as a number 10. Brilliant. He can adapt and do it brilliantly. There's no issues about being out of position or anything like that, because that's how he's been trained. Jack of all trades, as they say. And the same with Frankie de Jong. He can play. He's played everywhere. Can you put Fred
into that?
Well, Fred, too late, well. Fred. Too late, Fred. The development period is over. No matter what happened yesterday against Venezuela. I mean, we're talking about him against Venezuela. Come on, guys. Who are Venezuela? Who have they got? Name me 2 of their players. Exactly.
Okay, sorry, Monday. Would you carry on with the comments, please, and we can wrap through, and then I'll see what's relevant.
So Rich says, I think so. I think he's referring to agreeing with me again.
Yeah, you would think that.
And that's about it for now. Hi, Curtis Brown. Hi, Linville. Sorry, I missed this point by Curtis. Curtis is asking, which we're going to maybe go on to later in the show, is any other business about Jadon Sancho. We won't talk about that just yet. You're the chairman, Solo. And yeah, big up Stoney, Charlie, Linville, Curtis, and everyone commenting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, guys. So, guys, we're going to move on now to a topic which I call this guy the dinosaur of all football. And he's a dinosaur. So, Mike Phelan, he's been with United for a very long time now. It obviously 2008, I
2000.
believe it was up.
2000,
Yeah,
he was
he's been at
team manager.
Yeah, assistant manager was 2008 when he was made assistant manager. He's travelled as well, and not going to go through too much with him because I just want us to discuss whether or not he is the assistant manager coach, call him, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and what do we think his role at the football club is at the moment? Because my eye test, and I think Amanda's eye test as well, first because Amy is the guest, and ask Amy, what do you actually think Mike Phelan does at the club? Because whatever he does, I physically cannot see it. Ferguson, under Ole, I can't see anything at all, especially progress.
Yeah, look, obviously there's no denying it that Mike Phelan's been at the club a long time, so he does have a lot of experience in that regard. Although I do think he is outdated. But I don't think he is the only issue. You have Michael Carrick and Darren Fletcher in there who are not necessarily experienced coaches. So it's kind of like a Mates FC kind of thing. Ollie as well. Ollie as well, who isn't an experienced coach either. And I think the biggest problem of all is defence, set pieces, zonal marking, everything. Kieran McKenna, as we know, is in charge of that. And it is going absolutely nowhere. So I think in all aspects, I think if you're keeping Ollie as manager, you need to improve the coaching staff, because if you have a coaching staff of people that are so inexperienced, or like Mike Phelan, who is outdated, Ollie isn't going to learn from that either. So it's not going to get any better. So definitely, I think coaching is a massive issue in the club as well, to be honest.
Stats as well, to let you know, we conceded 49% of our pieces. Doesn't surprise you, does it?
I know. No. Set pieces are awful. We can't do zonal marker. We can't play out the back. I don't know what they do be doing in training, because there's absolutely no improvement on it whatsoever. So coaching staff is a massive issue.
We've got a female Amondi on the show.
Give me a call later.
Can't attack that. Can't attack
We
it.
can be
Can't
friends.
attack
I like
it. Mike Phelan, out, as Amy says, outdated. A lot of coaching staff and experience. Amy call them friends. What is it? Yeah. Amy, obviously, Friends United. You call them as well, Amy, because that's how we believe these guys are. It's like a pack, and there's no progression.
But it's the same, because John Murtaugh was at the club for years too, and they're after bringing him up to director of football. So they're not actually bringing anyone new into the club. It's like a Mates FC club. Like, it's ridiculous.
And I'm on it. And the problem is, you are the defense expert. So 49% of set pieces. Obviously, it's not down to Mike Phelan, but I was like, what? A lot of these guys are inexperienced, one, but two, you got a person who's been at the club for a very long time. Yes, he's the club inside out, and he'll be the person you need around you. I think him having this job is such a high-profile job, and his coaching is so inundated, it's unbelievable. Do you think we need to get rid of him or someone else who is a coach who can actually help Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Because we are all on Ole's back all the time, especially yourself and me. But it's not only Ole, it's the whole coaching team.
Right, we're talking about Mike's feeling here. Do we need to get rid of him? Has he ever left? I mean, we signed it. He's one of Alex Ferguson's first signings from Norwich, wasn't he? And he was bald when he arrived as a player, and he's still bald. That tells you a lot about how long he's been there, you know, and how old he is. I like him. He's done a great service for the club, but there comes a period in time where we have to reconsider what we're doing. And I think we are going still. We have to be honest. We are still going through a transition, and I think just like Fergie. Yeah, I still think so, because we're still bringing in developing staff and everything else. So we're having a complete overhaul, maybe. We're starting to look at that. Nicky Butt left earlier in the season in March. That was something quite crucial. So there's no sentiment there for players. and there shouldn't be no sentiment there for coaches either. So everybody's job should really, you should really be able to review it and say, have an praise and say, what are you achieving? What are your key performance indicators here? You know. So as Amy was saying, one of those key performance indicators would be with defensive coach. Yeah, don't go on summer holidays. We want a meeting. Why is it 49% of our goals are coming from set pieces? What are we doing wrong? Do you understand what I'm saying? Amy mentioned something about we're not bringing the ball out. She said we've got defensive issues. I don't think so. I think we've got a great player in Harry Maguire, who's a leader out there, who's doing bits for us. It's just that the players around him as centre-backs, maybe we're lacking there. So I think we need to buy a centre-back, and I think we need to just have a discussion with the players. If we're not going to do zonal where players can attack you and get a run on you,
what do you mean have discussion with the players? Because Harry Maguire is the captain, the leader. Bring him in. So, for example, that goal against Burnley, when they got the run on him. Do you understand what I'm saying? So he should be saying, guys, can we go man to man instead? Because I don't want players getting a run on me and getting heads on me just because I'm playing zonal defence. Maybe we should go man to man. They should all be involved in the consultation about how they're going forward. Because you can't just say to them, imagine the defence is out there saying, Harry Maguire's probably thinking, man, this zonal's not working. But you have to wait. Now's the time in the summertime to address all these situations about the so-called defensive errors, you know? And it's really important. So in regards to Mike Phelan, I can't really assess him, but I do. He's been there a long time. He's one of Fergie's boys, maybe one of the mates club or whatever. I don't know what's going on, but I can't assess him. But just like Fergie did, he had the know-how to bring in Carlos Queiroz and to take us to that next level and give us a added kind of thought pattern about our play and our style, especially in Europe and that kind of thing, to take us to the next level. With these guys there, all these Northern Man United Fergie guys, maybe we need to step it up and bring someone else in who can sort of spark things up and give us some new ideas, creative ideas.
Can't hear you solo, but yeah, I know what the question's going to be. Mike Phelan. Yeah,
you know what the question's going to be.
Let's have it right. I mean, Manchester City and Liverpool, right? They're on 5G, right, on their coaching, and we're still on ADSL dial-up, mate. You know what I mean? Like dinosaurs. You know what I mean? Listen, I agree. I agree with what Amonde said. Mike Phelan has been great for the club in the past. I'm sure they can find another role for him in some kind of an ambassadorial role. But we've got to bring in some like real high level quality coaching staff, you know, because it's more about how you do the coaching. You know, it's you've got to. Football has evolved, and there has to be so much more about the technique. And again, going back to the intelligence side of things, it seems to be lacking seriously. You just look at our inefficiencies in the final third. Sometimes you just have to slap your head and just think, what are you doing? What are you being told in training? What are they saying to you when you're training after the game, when you're watching the game back? Are they saying, oh yeah, that you did really well there, you know, and that's about it? It's like, come on, we're way behind. We're way off it. And Kieran McKenna for the defence, if it's his decision or his advice to Ollie that you do zonal marking, then again, this is where Ollie needs to be a bit more, you know, authoritative and say, look, sorry, but no, this isn't working. Change it up. Let's go back to, like you say, man for man. And yeah, just make a change, because a change is better than not, you know, inertia. So yeah.
So let's go to Mike Phelan. As what we'll keep saying, Ferguson have a very sort of, how can I put it? He's still got some saying at the football club. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to find some feet, I do believe. And I believe Ferguson's given the advice around the people around him. And obviously, him and Mike Phelan are very, very close friends. Do you believe, I think like what Amy says earlier, it's about him finding his own people and bring them into the club rather than probably listening to this old boys club? Because it is an old boys club, really, isn't it?
100%. There's obviously elements and influence from Ferguson, from people around Ollie, that's why you've got so much Manchester United connections there already. I think one of the reasons personally why I think this is in play at the moment is because of the David Moyes effect, the Louis van Gaal effect, the Mourinho effect that has been, he played our club, even though we did get some successes out of all three of those managers, which we're yet to see out of Ollie. But if you look when Fergie left, there was an anarchy of an exodus of players, coaching staff. Then Louis van Gaal came in, tried changing it. We've talked about these topics over and over again. But I think with Phelan and what it is at the moment, 100% right. Things will need to change, but I think we'll see that in about a season, not this season coming, but maybe the season after. Personally, that's what I feel is going to happen. Just get these next couple of signings in over the summer, and then we'll see.
Mr. B, it seems that Shaw wants to give Ole and give Mike Phelan extra time to get their coaching. Now, if we sit there and we honestly believe, as Man United fan, this duo or how many friends United or is going to be a success for Man United, and whilst Liverpool and Man City and Chelsea is going to sail off in the sunset and going to leave us far behind, for us to catch each season further away from us, people are going to say, about this season we finished second and the league tape don't lie. But with Marco Carrick at the club, I feel lack of experience. Do you think there could be any changes coming next season from Mike Phelan if he's still at the club with the style that football is playing at the moment?
What does Mike Phelan do at the club? On game day, we only ever see Carrick and McKenna. So I'm assuming he can't be a coach. Because if he's a coach, he would be there advising on game day, no? I think he's I think he was put there by Fergie, as maybe a buffer between Fergie and Ollie. I don't think he's got any specific coaching role. I think he's being paid. He went Hull. He went. Where did he go? Australia, Auckland FC, or some trash. How long was he there for? So he couldn't have gone there to learn. He didn't go there to inspire because he was there for less than a year. So I think he's come back. Fergie's felt sorry for him. His old mate. He's giving him a job at the club. As we keep saying, yeah, and he's got a little setup now. Ollie, obviously, the way that Phelan, or the job that Phelan does, Ollie's getting all the stick for, so fuck him off. You know what I mean? Get him out the way. You got Cochrane in. I believe that's an Ollie. You know what? If it's not on Ollie's side, if it's not on Ollie, not recruitment, I don't know what the word is. If it's appointment. Yeah, that's the word. If it's not an Ollie appointment, then it's a club appointment, and it's a good club appointment. Because for him to be with England, which means he's top of his game. We're not saying all England managers are top of their game, but those under 17, under 18, they produce winners. They produce winners out of those kids. So if they can inspire or have any form of input into what we're doing, our coaching side at Manchester United, then it has to be a benefit to us. Phelan is very, very old. I'm not sure he will change. So he'll have his opinions, and guess what? They're not going to change. You need fresh ideas. You need fresh input. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he wouldn't be adverse to hearing these things from the younger generation, but they're not his ideas. We need people who can come up with these ideas, come up with these suggestions, so that, we're creating it. We're not hearing it second and third hand. He's come to us. He decides, or they come up with a plan that makes our youth better. I mean, we've got good youth, but that gap needs to be bridged. and it needs to be somebody that Ole trusts. So it will be interesting, within the year to see what difference is made. As I said, I'm more happy that his preferred formation is 4-2-3-1, if I'm really, really honest, because at least he must have an understanding of how that is supposed to be played. Because at the moment, I don't think Ole does.
Yeah.
But just so we have to remember one thing with Man United, and this is true. It's an island. Old Trafford is an island. Everything else outside it does not matter. It's all within the club. And Gary Neville, and I think it was Gary Neville and Paul Scholes said that and I watched it. I can't remember what it was, an interview or some kind of documentary. And they said it's an island, and it's everything you need is all there, and it's the best of everything. Not just at Carrington, but also at Old Trafford. And so bring it in. It must be difficult when you're in that kind of situation. You know, like if you're on a ship, you've been on a successful, raiding ship, and then you've got to change your staff. It's going to be difficult to do. You want to try and find out, who is this person? Is he part of do you know him? Is he related to you in any way? And So I don't think it's a case necessarily of like, as we see it, mates jobs and all that kind of thing. I think it's more a case of, look, these guys know the club, they understand the workings of it. That's the biggest element. But we do need to move on. Definitely need to move on. But it's going to be difficult, I think, to get somebody who can just quickly come in and adjust to the whole setup.
So, going to go on to Amy with what Amy you just said about obviously being an island at Old Trafford. Obviously everything you need, and it's about obviously when you bring someone into the club, you need to obviously know what they're about. But I think having people in the club already have a relaxed mentality, like it seems very right now at Man United, where everyone is, because it's so close friends. We lose a couple of games. We know Ole ain't going to get sacked, and we know the coaching staff is going to get sacked, and we might just come in. Don't you think that's a thing that we need to change as a club and also as a fan base? We've got to start looking at the picture and realize we, as Man United fan, isn't good enough at the moment. Unmute, Amy, unmute. You know what? It's hilarious, isn't it? Well, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
At least you haven't got a cat face on, do you know what I mean? Like when that lawyer that got caught. That cat filter.
Sorry, Amy.
As I was saying a while ago, when it's like Mates FC there at the minute, and not any of them have any bit of experience between them besides actually playing for the club. So I think obviously when they are looking outside the club, they're going to have to look for experienced coaches, and I think at the minute with the Glazers, they're looking for the cheaper option. And they don't want the hassle. Like, you see what they're like with transfers. Like, I'd say we will be signing Sancho, but it's a year too late. It took us 8 months to sign Bruno unnecessarily. Like, they just look for the cheaper option and everything, and they're just being really stingy, to be honest. And I feel like most of the time they do look for the easier way out. So I feel like that's why they are bringing in past players, and rather than actually going out looking for experienced coaches and bringing some experience into the coaching staff and actually try develop the team a bit better. So I just feel like any past player that's there and they want to be involved in the club, they're just going to give them the job, to be honest.
Sum it up perfectly there, Amy. So guys, if you're watching, liking the contents, we got technical difficulty today, so please, it's not like this. Just hit that like, subscribe and share button, guys. So we're gonna wrap up. Before we wrap up, is there any comments? And I want to get Amy's to the show as well. I want to just get their opinion as well. We're going to talk about Sancho for about a few minutes as well, about this deal. So on Monday, anything, and then I'll hit the guys up.
Yeah, I just want to add, Rich Sports has come on to join us. Hi, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. Hello, Rich.
Channel. Rich is does great Man United content. I call him Rich Letterman because he does a late show. I post 11 o'clock. So you can
11
square.
o'clock, innit? Yeah, bloody hell.
Brilliant show. Tune in to Rich. He's saying the coaching in general needs to be better. Silver Fox, Arsenal fan. We are bigging you up now, but we're not going to pick you up next week when you come on our Studs Up. Rich Sports again said Fergie replaced his number 2 a number of times. Ollie needs to do the same. So
I think Ollie needs to put his foot down and say, look, I need this.
Yeah.
But going by the Glazers, it looks like he's not going to get what he wants. So
Who is Ollie's number 2?
Mike Phelans.
Mike Phelan.
Rich
So
Sports
can
again.
I just go back quickly? Sorry,
Are we
before we
sure
do
you're on
that
the plan?
again.
No, there's like
Amy,
basically it's like a flat hierarchy in it. There's no like number 2, number 3, number 4. Basically, all the coaching staff are on
At one level.
one level. So
If
like,
it's-
you know, like that's what I was trying to say. Like, basically, this the whole reason why I'm saying that Mike Phelan's gonna stay is because this whole transition is happening. So this Mike Phelan situation ain't going away. I think he'll be there for 2 seasons. Do I want him there? Look, if he's there and plus you've got another hot topic, then fine. Like, then he becomes that buffer between Fergie. But right now, I just think like that's just a flat hierarchy that they've got because they're covering it like American football, covering different sections of the team. So I reckon Mike Phelan's looking after our defence.
I do too. I do too. I think Mike Phelan is a good defensive coach.
That's what I think he is. Genuinely.
I agree with you.
Michael Carrick's dealing with midfield.
Sorry. Start again.
I
Are you
agree.
not taking
No,
the
it's
piss out of me?
serious.
No, I'm being serious.
I'm
What have I
100%.
just missed?
Because
You lot have just said we're not good at defence.
no, it didn't.
Yes.
I never said that.
No, but
Okay,
I'm not.
so-
I'm not.
We
No,
said
listen, I'm just saying that's what the structure is.
We're specific about the role of the zonal marking on set pieces, defending set pieces.
Yeah.
That's
Right,
what
so
we
who are we
said.
blaming that on? McKenna.
McKenna.
Amy said McKenna, but I'm saying as well, you can be universal. I think Mike Phelan has got a lot of defensive qualifications. I think he's very good at being a defensive coach. Not like a defensive coach thing, but in general, he knows football. He's been there a long time. He's seen a lot of eras. He's even come through Fergie's era as well. I wasn't sure when he left the club, like I said, but he's been there a long time. He knows what he's doing. Shall I just finish the comments? Being replaced a couple of times. We agree. We want the best, says Rich. Rich is a Man United fan and said they need replacing if they're not good enough, basically. Rich is also saying Ollie needs to take the lead, as Amy just said, in making the changes. Ole, he will be the end up the one being sacked. That's the part of manager. You've got to take that responsibility. He's going to be accountable for everything that goes wrong. So he better sort it out. Big Barbados, our Big Phil. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Big Phil.
He's just giving us. He's doing a watch on our Lindelof playing for Sweden against Spain right now. He's saying he's playing pants. Didn't know what pants meant. He said didn't know until recently. Stephen, hi Stephen.
Hello, Stephen.
He's having a side dig. I don't know if you can feel it in your side there, boys. He's giving us a little dagger here. He says he's watching Spain, Sweden, and he's watching De Gea, and he's seeing if De Gea would take a penalty. Very funny. And yeah, Big Phil says not funny. Still watching big mid-table FC because Stephen's an Arsenal fan. The cheek of it. We need more players from Harrods, but we'd rather buy from Townland.
Hey, don't knock Townland, Phil.
Yeah.
Townland's quality, mate. Don't knock it.
Amy,
You know what? I got barred. Let me just say this on Monday. I got barred because every time I went in, they'd say, "Yeah, mate, how much is that?" And he'd say, "It's £1." I go down the next aisle and go, "Excuse me, look." Go, yeah, yeah. How much of them? Go, look, it's £1. Everything's £1. It's a bleeding pound shop.
annoying, very annoying.
Oh,
Amy,
God.
props from Rich Sports. Go and tune into his show. He said exactly. He agrees with you, Amy. Rich Sports again says Ollie needs to demand better. He gets the blame if we don't improve. And Spain are completely dominant. Thank you.
So, before we wrap up here, just got to go to Shah and Amy. Amy, this Sancho deal, which it's a year late anyway, as much as we want to have Sancho at club, I don't believe we'll sign him until after the Euros. That's one. Two, it will only do the shirt sale after the Euro. And not only shirt sale, honestly believe if we do sign Sancho, I honestly believe then we need to find a creative midfield player and a DM desperately. Do you actually believe we'll go out and spend any money on those players? Because if we get Sancho, I think that's it done.
What I think about Sancho is I'm not going to count this transfer money in this window because that should have been done last summer. So I think obviously Sancho was priority last summer and they didn't get him. But I think there's too much hype around Sancho at the minute when he's not actually a priority signing, when a priority signing should be a centre-back and a defensive midfielder. I think too many mistakes are starting from the back, and especially when you're playing two defensive midfielders like Fred and McTominay, who aren't actually probably defensive midfielders. Like Fred and McTominay have completely, well, they're different players, but they have separate attributes. Like Fred is good at breaking up play, but he loses the ball far too much. I feel like McTominay is better going forwards. McTominay is more of a box-to-box player. So I feel like we do need a defensive midfielder that will sit there and be able to move the ball quick and move it forward. That way Bruno won't have to come back so deep to look for the ball as well. He can just stay up there. Pogba then as well can have that free role in the midfield.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to play a midfield diamond before, you can have McTominay in there as your box-to-box player as well. So I think the main problems are at the back, and it is a centre-back and a defensive midfielder that we need. And I just don't think Sancho should be priority. But look, it is a sign that should have been done a year ago. So hopefully we can actually get it over the line this summer and just get it out of the way. But there are more important roles that need to be filled.
Thank you. Yeah. Sure. This conversation time ago, but welcome back. So, Shah, obviously, like what Amy's saying, it's a transfer that should have been done last year. She also believes the transfer money we're using this season should be for last season. Last season, I think the net spend worked out to be £38.3 million on net spend last season. Can you honestly see the Glazers, in his pocket and actually going out and getting the players we need? And you got to also remember, on top of that, we took out £120 million loan due COVID as well, and there's a leak in the South Stand as well.
Okay, so there's quite a few points to cover here, right? Sancho is a solution to a problem that is 10 years old. Okay, we've needed a right wing since Nani. Okay, since Nani, and I'm telling you, our amount of times I think we've talking about it. You know, Valencia got put back into playing right back and then he was crossing balls in. God, I can't think of any right wingers that we've had. So that position, Sancho has been a purchase that should have happened 10 years ago, in my opinion, personally. And I agree, money was spent last year, but we're probably going to save a little bit of money because of COVID. If they spent last year, we've done all right without him. So look, fine, this season's the season. Now this is the season we push on again. So I think he's probably coming in at the right time, personally. He's had another year of playing first-team football for Borussia Dortmund, which he probably wouldn't have got that much game time here because of what Ollie's like a Donny van der Beek probably sat him on the bench for the whole season anyway. He paid all that money. So I think that side of it is good. And agree with definitely defensive midfielder. We need someone who's going to be able to sit at the bottom of that diamond or sit in front of that four, like Amy's quite rightly said. What was the other point, Errol?
I think the rest was about the league and the infrastructure at the club.
Oh, yeah. So, look, one thing that I do have a gripe about, all right, there are problems in the structure of the club and how old it is. But at the time when it was built 25 years ago, it was modern, it was flash, it was the greatest thing that world football had seen at the time. You know, it's called a theatre of dreams. The problem why they're not spending too much money on it is because they're trying to get the planning permission for the new stadium, but the new stadium is that far away, the planning permission, etc., is all taking a long time because there's no way that they can build out. So they're not trying to invest too much money in this because they are going to try and build a world class
Oh,
stadium.
shut up, Sean.
I'm telling you now. Listen, Mr. B, I'll tell you now, man. I'll tell you now. Look, this is something that's gonna happen.
You're
in the
living
next-
in cloud cuckoo land. The fucking hole ain't been fixed because they're tight cunts. You're talking about them saving money to build a super stadium.
They will, man.
Listen, man. You've been on the happy juice this morning, man.
I'm telling you, I promise you now. Look, the amount of times I've been to games and there's a few security guards and even the head of security that we get to chat to, right? I swear to you now. And even I'll go, why haven't they extended the, like, because we're at 70,000. If we got 90,000, we'll fill that stadium, right? Every game. To 99, you know, maybe about 98%, okay, apart from the ones that don't turn up, etc. Yeah, but my point is that they can't do it. I asked the conversation why they couldn't do it, and that's what my explanation was. And that was
You're so gullible, man. You are so gullible, I swear.
Not because the phone line's behind.
Did you know they said pigs can fly as well?
Oh.
Mate, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Listen, this is a full-on studs up now. I'm telling you now, like.
Nah,
we'll be coming back to this in 10 years' time, yeah, and we'll be going like, yo.
Yeah, 10 years' time. Yeah.
10 years.
And the Glazers taking out nearly 400 million, like every 2 seasons at the club. But we're going to build a new state-of-the-art
super stadium. Thank you. Made of bloody Lego and bullshit.
Soon, yeah. Guys,
Casey's surprised, by the way, because there wasn't even showers and toilets in their training facility, so Casey's only left.
There you go.
Because they didn't even have toilets and showers in their training facility, so they had to walk 10 minutes down the road to go to the toilet.
Who did?
There you go.
The women's team. They have no toilets or showers in their training facility.
Are they doing really well now, the women's team for Man United?
They are.
They're actually
they
doing
did.
quite
For
well,
the first
to be honest.
season.
Yeah.
For the first season.
Maybe it's all those drills.
Not because of the club, in spite of the club. That's the problem, yeah? You got to wait 10 minutes to have a piss.
That's what.
See, old traditional values. That's why they're doing well.
Come on, they fuck off.
We're not going to get this studs up show tonight, guys.
Can I just add this comment here from Big Phil? Big Phil's on the Sancho situation. Big Phil says, Sancho, you say is a solution because we didn't have Nani. But he also said we haven't had a solid DM since Roy Keane, and that was 2005. So what's the most important position that we need? I think Sancho's a good signing.
I think
it is a good signing, but I don't think he's top priority, to be honest. I think
he's not.
We need to work from the back.
I think he's. I agree with you. I think he's part of that priority, though, right? I mean, he's like, we need a DM, we need a right wing, we need a central defender, we need a new manager, we need a new assistant.
What do we prioritize?
We need a new stadium.
You know what I mean? The question is, what do we prioritize? Because Amy's saying,
I would say for me,
centre back. Because if you look at,
I would prioritize centre back.
We need 3 players. We need a defender. We need a DM, and we need a right wing.
What is the priority?
Centre back. Centre back.
Defensive midfielder.
Centre back.
Talk.
Nothing.
Number 6.
Okay. So we all
I
mix
want Jadon Sancho.
So do I.
Listen, hold on.
He wants to change to something because he knows Martial's going to Real Madrid, so he needs to change it.
You know what? Let's just cut this show now because you're going to make me get so mad. We've had this Martial talk.
He's going to have to
I'm
change
not doing it. I'm not changing it.
Hold on.
I'm not changing it.
Hold on. What did I say the other night? About Ole? He needs to make decisions, and he's starting to show that he's doing that. So he's going to get rid of.
He's made the wrong one.
Yeah, no, I don't think he has. He's getting rid of Martial.
He has. I'm not talking to you, Rise. You're being blocked.
One second. What we don't see right at the club is we don't see what's going on in training, attitude-wise. You know, being given instructions whether you're picking it up or not, whether you can be asked, and it's quite clear that obviously from what's been said, Martial's attitude is all wrong.
No,
what he's trying to do.
I think personally, I think Martial has had enough time.
Yeah, he has. He's had enough time.
And I think he needs to go.
You know, but in terms of the Sancho thing for me, if we look at where we are, we're really left side heavy, aren't we? We're left-sided.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
So we know that most teams know they know that. All the other managers know that. If we try to go down our right side, it's a weaker side. So they always,
Everything
like
goes
I
down
said,
the left, so we're very predictable.
yeah. So we always get outnumbered over on that side, and then we have to then have the midfielders doing things that they shouldn't be doing. That's why we get a bit mixed up and get caught out. So, like I say, if you have now a balance of left to right, but in order to make that work, in my opinion, to tie those two left and rights together, we need that defensive midfielder who's going to sit in front of those two. Because when your left and your rights go up in this system, that's key to making it work. And he's there as like we keep saying, the outball. I've studied this 4-2-3-1. I've read all about it and everything, and that is the key to it. If you don't have that number 6 doing what's supposed to be doing, it all falls to shit. So
any goals that we concede as well, maybe 7 or 8 times out of 10, it comes down to Fred and McTominay losing the ball in our own half.
Yeah.
So we need
Well
a defensive
said.
midfielder.
Mr. B is happy now with you.
Mr. B, how can I make it up to you? How can I make it up to you? Now, don't fall out with me, please. Don't.
Listen, we've all got to accept. No, Fred is not going anywhere, mate.
How do we spend 50 million on him? I don't even think he's
Fred's not going anywhere, right? So listen, next season we just got to back him. He's wearing the shirt.
No.
Because he's getting played. Mr. B, he's getting played. He's getting played.
Anyway,
This is what I hate, right?
Showtime? Isn't this cut off showtime?
He had one good game last night against Venezuela. As was said a while ago, we don't even know 2 players that play for them, and all of a sudden he's underrated.
Yeah.
I'm a Fred guy.
Yeah, and we all know what sort of idiot you are. Yeah.
So just to add, Big Phil, he's saying also he thinks the priority should be a central midfielder or so-called DM, because otherwise he said we should call us Donut FC because we have nothing in the middle.
That's good.
That's why I'm saying as well. If we don't sign a defensive midfielder, Bruno has to drop deep.
Yeah.
And then there's no one in the middle here creating anything. So we definitely need a defensive midfielder that can push the ball forward and push it forward quickly. Because as good as Matic is, he's too slow.
He's dead.
Yeah, he's too slow.
That's the thing.
No, he does have the ability, but he's far too slow.
You're right, because also the transition from left to right, you see it time and time again. You go, wait, well, why did it take you all that time to get it over there?
Slow play.
It should be done in 2 passes.
Yeah, quicker
One
legs.
to the midfielder in central and bang out. You know, or if you've got good players like Sancho, it comes to that midfielder who is the number 6, who's gone like forward because he's carried the ball forward, past it, goes to the left. There's nothing doing because you get they're outnumbered. Whoosh, comes straight back to him. He sees a gap, and on that movement of him going forward and carrying the ball, that's the cue for the right winger to make his play to get in to behind, because then there comes the pass and wallop. You know, Can
I just add what you're asking for then is a central midfielder. We talk about Ndidi and all these other players to come in. Quality. They can't spray ping passes in 1 or 2 passes to the wide men. They can't do that. It's not in a game. He plays a short game like that, which will be a slower build up kind of thing. So players like that. I think if we're talking about a so-called DM, he's going to have an attribute where he can play progressive passing, something Fred and McTominay really struggle to do, as Amy said earlier, about ball retention. So we need someone who's technically take the ball on a half turn, can get it out of defence, doesn't get rushed like Matic, who's good on the ball and composed, but can also spray balls and ping balls to the wing guys, and so we can have a quick transition of play.
Okay, guys. We've got to wrap it up there. Thanks, guys. If we all just stay on for like 2 minutes afterwards, if that's okay for everyone. Guys, please subscribe. This is the Man United Agenda, and we would like to find out where we can find a few of these guys. So, Talk MU, where are we finding yourself?
You find me in the cake aisle at Morrison's usually, looking at
Or the pound
Or the pound shop, asking how much is that? It's a pound. Yeah, but how much is that? It's 3 of them. It's a pound, Olive. Get out the fucking bath. Right. No, you find me on Twitter at iTalkMU. You find me on Speakly TV, Rich Sports, the Man United Agenda, Football United TV, and Dugout Daily. Crikey, I remembered it all.
Oh, well. And Amy, our special guest, thank you so much for being on. Where can we find you? Thank
you can
Amy.
follow me on Twitter on It's You18, and you can also find me over on the Weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast on YouTube. So if you want to go over and subscribe to that.
Yep, make sure you guys go and subscribe to it as well. Thank you, Amy.
Yep, already have.
Oh, okay. We know where we can find you, don't we?
Right. Oh, hold on. That way. Up, down. Just subscribe. Like. The Man United Agenda. That's where you'll find me at FTB Sports.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Come on, give us a spelling on everything. What you're going to give us? Lay it down to us.
Get it right. Get your notebook and pen out, everybody.
Pad, I got my notepad.
You can find me on Twitter, bottom left here, Monday Juma 16. Yeah, that's right. Oh, sorry. You can find me on Instagram as Zacchius Forbes, ZACHIUS FORBES. You can find me on Facebook at Yabba Forbes, YABBA FORBES. And I'm new to TikTok as well. Check me out. It's quite funny on TikTok. TikTok is Monday Juma. And big up, Amy. Like to see you again. Thanks for the brilliant content. And you deliver like a beast. I love it. Bring it on again.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
You're more than welcome. Here, there, and
you know
everywhere.
where you can find me. I'm on Twitter, Mr. B Online. As I said, no arguing, please, no cussing. I'm really not into that. You can find me here. United Agenda, all part of the FTV family. And walking up and down Oxford Street most days, looking for something to eat.
I forgot to add where else you could find it. That'll be it. Outside Mr. B's with a bunch of flowers. Set me back, Mr. B. I'll do anything.
And can I just add, Mr. B said find him on Twitter or whatever. He's not there for the argument and everything else. He just told me to F off and he told Sharks to shut
This
Oh, brilliant.
Danger.
Guys,
Jekyll and Hyde.
find me
That's
on...
his new name. It's now Martial's leaving. We Jekyll and Hyde and Mr. B on Twitter. Yeah.
You need to change it now. So, guys, you can find me on TikTok on the Man United Agenda. You can find me on Instagram on Man United Agenda. You can find me on Twitter, Man United Agenda and Solo United 7. And you can find me on a professional page. Oh, thanks. I didn't want to do that, but anyway. Then you can find me on a professional page on Man United Agenda. And part of the FTB family as well, guys. So please like, share, subscribe. Keep going. Can I take myself off now?
Of course you can.
Or thing. There we can. Okay, guys. We just done for like 2 seconds afterwards. It'll be great. And thank you all. And I would say have a good evening, but yeah. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.